07 Commanders. My name is Foxtrot Echo 1, or Commander Will Fearion in the game Elite Dangerous. We're going to talk about today is a little bit about Selenium Farming. Some changes have happened over time, and you don't have to use an SRV anymore. We're going to get into that. So we're going to start with the build of the ship. Okay, this is what I built to go do this with. I finally found, a video out there that kind of showed what was going on. May have been a little bit outdated, but it was good enough to get me started. So the first thing we'll start with is the hard points. These hard points, you can get these remote release flak launchers, and there may be other variations of these, but you can get these from any rescue ship for Thargoid AX stuff. You can get that there, and I'm sure there's other places, but this is where I picked mine up, or I picked it up at the Founders World, one of the two. But basically, the reason I have so many is because they only have a limited number of shots, so it's 32 shots each one. So I just took 6, and they're a 2B class 2 B, so they can fit in any slot except for a 1. So I loaded up the truck. Now, the utility mounts, I just have a few heatsink launchers. That's just because of the fuel scoop I have, which we'll get to in a minute. But basically, I have enough heat sinks, so if I need to fuel the ship, I can do that. This ship is designed for going on its own power without a carrier, and I just wanted to make sure that if I needed to fuel up a long way, I wanted to not overheat. So that's why I have those. The core internals, you definitely don't need all the core internals that I have, but these worked out for me. You can definitely the lightweight armors for jump range, the Guardian hybrid power plant. It was just, I just made sure I had one that's big enough to work. It's a 6A power plant, but it's in a class 8 slot, so that's fine. Your thrusters, obviously, dirty drive tuning and drag drives. That's pretty standard. Frame shift drive, increased FSD range and mass manager. Life support, you can make lightweight. I just haven't done it. The distributor, I probably could have used Guardian as well, but I had already had one in here. So this one's charge enhanced power distributor and a super conduits. Definitely overkill for this mission, and then your sensors, lightweight scanners. You don't really need scanners. And then the fuel tank, the normal fuel tank. Then we have the internals, which may or may not be interesting. Let's find out. So we got 128 cargo rack. That's pretty big. It's good size. We got a shield generator. Now this is a pretty tough shield generator, actually reinforced. It has thermal block on it, but this came off of a human build ship at some point, so I just used it because it works fine. This is to, help if you hit the ground when you're looking for minerals. It can, it can be pretty devastating to this ship. So having a nice shield is not a bad idea. Of course, if you're a careful driver, you can go with much less than this shield generator. Then, of course, the Olympic controllers. Now, I'd never done this before. I don't know if this was always allowed or what. I never did mining, so I didn't know much about it. But the Collector Limpet 5A controller is you can take multiples of those. So I do have on this ship right now. I have 4. Have seen ships with more. If you're on a carrier, you don't need this. So that would give me 5, and that would be another one. But since I didn't have a carrier handy, I took a Guardian frameshift drive booster, which gives me quite the distance. I got 46.64 unladen, but that, even with it full of cargo, it's still 41. That's still pretty darn spiffy. That'll get you from the Founder's World to the destination in about 11 jumps. So then we can't do anything with the military compartment. If you put anything in here, it just adds to the mass and the weight and all that, so you don't care about that. Now the fuel scoop obviously is a 4A, and that's why I'm carrying the heat sinks, because this 4A fuel scoop is kind of slow, and the gas tank on the Anaconda is kind of big. So hey, look, if you want to do the wait time and fill up slower, that's on you. I'm too anxious. I need to get where I'm going. Then I threw in also an anti-corrosion cargo rack. Don't need this anti-corrosion version, but it's the same size as a regular one. So I thought, well, if I run into a thing where I need to pick up some corrosive stuff, there you go. This is not an AX built ship. This is definitely for human space. The detailed surface scanner, if you know how to use it very well, basically whenever you first get to a planet, if it has geologicals and things like that, you can use the scanner and scan the planet to reveal all of its little secrets. But in this particular instance, we know the exact coordinates we want to go to, so scanning the planet is not really necessary, but you could. I would, just because you should. The Super Cruise Assist, that's just so I can point at a destination and go. This particular ship also collects signal source things as well. If I was using the carrier, I would probably switch this out to I wouldn't have the Super Cruise Assist. I would just use the Super Cruise overcharged FSD and just go fast. But you can use the Super Cruise Assist, but not at the same time as the frame shift drive that's supercharged. And of course, you need the most important thing on any computer, the advanced docking computer. This is helpful, especially if you don't have shields, because if you run into the side of the station, it's pretty good chance you're just going to die right there. So just be careful. And then that comes with the ship. So that's the setup. Another thing I would suggest to you is before you get going, go to the main menu, the very first menu in the game. Go to your network settings or your display settings, and force the frame rate to 30 FPS. I've tried this both ways. I tried it at 30, 60, and unlimited. It's not worth it, Commanders. You get way more materials back if you just force it into 30 for that little bit of time while you're out shopping for materials. The next thing we're gonna look at, we'll look at the map. If you go to the galaxy map, the place that we're going is listed on the bottom of the screen. But I have a bookmark, so I'll just use the bookmark. Down here, yes, HR 3233, body 3AA. So we can look at that. We'll go look at it. We'll go look at the system real quick so you can see what's in there. Obviously, if you haven't been there before, then you'll need to wait a minute. There we go. Then you'll need to get in there. So once you're in there, it's this body right here. So you go 1. See, that's 1, and that's 1A, 2, 3, 3A, 3AA. And make sure you go to 3AA and not 3A, because I've done that before where I went to the wrong one and I was flying all over the place. I was like, where the hell's it? And then I realized I came up over Horizon or something and I saw that other planet and it said 3AA on it, and I was like, oh no. So make sure you get the right planet. Now, if you look at the exact planet, it doesn't show much of anything on here. You can't, they don't mark. I wish it would be nice if they would just mark where the geologicals are, but or whatever. I mean, people that are into the geology or the exobiology, they might, I've seen videos where they say this is the color, and I can't really tell the difference between that color and any other blue color. So I prefer just to have the coordinates. So once you get there, then you can worry about what else is going on, which is right here. All right. So I just got a little video here. And once you get to the planet, you get to the coordinates, you come down and you'll see your brain trees, right? So your brain trees are on. And then, of course, don't do what I just did. This was my very first time, so I just screwed it up. But then I started getting used to it. I was like, oh, that's how you do it. So you just fire the flak cannons down and then launch, or you can do it the other way if you don't blow them all up. But once you get the flak down and get it around in areas, then you can just start launching limpets. So that's what you see going on there. I launched a whole bunch of limpets. And then the next thing you want to do, and I hadn't quite figured it out yet, because you'll see down on the screen sometimes the limpets get stuck on the trees. So it's best if you just back away. And I think I do that here at some point, after I put down my cargo scoop. And then I backed away a little bit so that the limpets would, pick up more stuff. And, there's no, for me, I can't really explain exactly how the flak cannons work, but I can tell you that they do spread quite a ways. So you can get quite a bit of material unlocked if you want to, get as much of the material as you can. Now you can do this, and then you can you can fly around to another location, which usually in this area where I've just shown you, there's a lot of brain trees around here. So you can just kind of see, here's where I backed out, and then I wait, and you wait till all the trees go away. Once the trees go away, the limpets will start acting right again. So once I figured that out, I was like, oh, and mostly this time I was just looking at how it works and stuff. So maybe in the future, if I ever go here again, then we can do that. I've never went after Selenium, because before you had to either do it in an SRV, or the only way I knew of how to do it was in an SRV or on foot. You go out on foot and you shoot them off the trees, and then you take the SRV and go pick them up. I broke 3 joysticks doing that crap, so I just stopped. I never filled up my Selenium before. Today, on this video, I did actually fill it all the way to the tippy top. But you see, it's just like, at that point, I guess it's kind of like mining. I'm not really a miner, so I couldn't really tell you. But it feels like that's what, because I always see mining videos where there's 60 million, limpets flying out. And you can obviously, if you want to design the ship some other way so you get more limpets or whatever, that's fine. There's actually other coordinates. If you use tools, say, for one, finding the coordinates on a planet, not everybody knows how to do it manually. There is a tool that I use, which is an older tool. It's called Edison. And Edison, if you put in the information, you put the longitude and latitude and the planet and all that, when you get to the planet, you turn it on, and it'll tell you which way to turn your ship, and then when to descend, and the whole nine. It'll take you right to the spot, which makes this process so much better. There's another tool, which I just started playing with. I'll probably talk about it more soon, is the ED Copilot. Also, when you get to a planet, if it knows of a geological or location, it will literally display it on the screen for you so you can see it. That thing is wonderful. I'm just starting to look into it, but if you haven't tried ED Copilot, it's great. I even hooked it up so that it can, I can hook up my iPad to the computer with this other piece of software, Space Desk, and then you just, whenever something goes on, the ED Copilot pops up and tells you stuff, and it talks to you too. So you get a little crosstalk, especially if you're using like voice attack and stuff like that. The HCS voice packs, which there's a link for that in the description. I will probably go ahead and include all the tools in the description going forward that I use, because it's just easier for me just to let you guys check it out when you have time. You see now I'm moving off towards another grouping of brain trees. The one thing that I did notice when I was doing this, you got to fly kind of slow, because the brain trees don't populate in, not for me anyway, maybe for other people. I do have pretty good internet, so I don't know what takes it so long, and I'm also in solo, so it should. I don't know why. I've even got the graphics settings. I turn them up a little bit because I was slowing down the frame rate. So I even took the graphics up to high, even though I probably can run higher than that on this game. It's just not worth it because, yeah, the rendering time on some of this stuff is not amazing. So I'm basically doing the same thing here, and then I figure out, oh, I got to back away, and then I back up and make the brain trees go away, and then all of a sudden all my limpets will start moving. See, they all started booking back up towards the ship once I got the trees to disappear. If you go too far, just come back down a little bit. Or if the limpet seems like it's out of your range, just scoot your ship, closer to the limpet, and eventually they'll take off and come to you. So, yeah. So I had a really good time with that, and it was the first time I've ever done Selenium. Apparently, you can do this process on the shard trees, which there's other kinds of level 4 material that you can get, and you can see you can do it the same way with those shard trees as you can with the brain trees. And I think, not 100% on this, but there was a video I saw where a guy was shooting at brain trees with other materials. Now, I didn't go to any of those places. I already had places mapped out. I only wanted to try Selenium just for today, so that's basically it. So that was just kind of a demonstration of that for you. And then if you come over to the fourth panel, if you want to see how your progress is going, if you're using ED Copilot, she'll actually tell you, or he or she, or whichever you set it up as, will actually tell you when you are maxing out on a certain material. And so like I maxed out on a couple. There's like 3 materials on that planet. The only one I really cared about was Selenium, because with Selenium you can buy anything else, and it's a pretty good trade. It's trade up rate if you go to any material trader, raw material trader, and you can find that kind of stuff out through anara.cz, and that link will definitely be in the description of the video. And so yeah, there's a lot of tools you can use to find out information. It in a way, I'm kind of bummed that that it's easy. It's just so much easier. Like the player base, they can't really do mods, so what they do is they do add-ons, and boy, they have some really cool add-ons. So anyway, that's where I'm at, Commanders. Hope you learned something, and we'll talk to you again soon.